This will be a very important lesson where I will introduce the 12 principles of project management. Since this topic is very broad, I will only be introducing all the 12 principles here. I will discuss each of these principles in greater detail later when we encounter them during various case studies. These principles first appeared in PMBOK version 7 in late 2021 and were developed from input and feedback of thousands of global project practitioners from different industries, different backgrounds, different organizations. The only thing common was that they were all into project management. So, we will start with the million-dollar question: what exactly are principles? Principles for any profession serve as the foundational guidelines for strategy, decision-making, and problem-solving. Different professions use principles in different ways. Some use them as rules, laws, or morals. However, the 12 principles of project management are only intended to guide the behavior of people in projects. They are neither rules, laws, or morals, though there may be some overlaps. Okay, so now let us meet each of the principles. First principle: be a diligent, respectful, and caring steward. The word steward means a caretaker or a custodian. As the project manager, you are the custodian of the project and all resources that are allocated. Diligent care for all resources, including the business, the people involved, and the environment. Demonstrate personal integrity, honesty, and trustworthiness. Second principle: create a collaborative project environment. Encourage a collaborative environment where team members communicate effectively and work together towards common goals. For example, holding daily stand-up meetings in agile projects to discuss progress, challenges, and plans creates a collaborative project team environment. Principle number 3: effectively engage with stakeholders. Involve stakeholders throughout the project lifecycle to ensure their needs and expectations are understood and addressed. For example, regular meetings with clients and end users to gather feedback and incorporate it back into the project plans. Principle number 4: focus on value. Project managers should focus on outcomes more than anything else, such as processes, plans, any of these. Prioritize activities that contribute the most to achieving project objectives. For example, in software development, focusing on features that provide the most value to end users rather than adding unnecessary functionalities or on focusing on cool technologies. Principle number 5: recognize, evaluate, and respond to system interactions. A system is a group of interdependent components that work together as one unit. We have spoken about organizational systems and project systems in our earlier lessons. The project is a system and it interacts with many other external systems. The project manager should be responsive to system interactions to maximize positive results. For example, the best implemented software applications provide API interfaces that allow other applications in the ecosystem to communicate and utilize them, resulting in much bigger and more useful applications. For example, there are several software tools that can communicate with each other through API calls. For example, Jira can be plugged into WhatsApp and vice versa. Principle number 6: demonstrate leadership behaviors. Inspire and motivate team members, stakeholders, and other project participants to achieve project success. For example, leading by example, demonstrating commitment to project goals, and providing guidance and support to team members throughout the project lifecycle is a demonstration of leadership behavior. Principle number 7: tailor based on context. Every project is unique, and so the success of any project is based on adapting to the unique settings of the project. Then we determine the best methods to get the results. Another point to note is that tailoring is an iterative process and it should be continuously applied throughout the project. Build quality into processes and deliverables. That is principle number 8. Focus on delivering products or services that meet or exceed stakeholders' quality expectations. For example, implementing quality control measures in manufacturing to ensure products meet industry standards and customer requirements. Principle number 9, navigate complexity. Complexity can creep into a project because of human behavior, system behavior, ambiguity, or technical innovation, or any other reason. Project managers should themselves navigate the complexity of a project and help build approaches and plans to successfully execute the project lifecycle. Principle number 10, optimize risk responses. Notice the word optimize. We have to identify, assess, and mitigate project risks and project objectives. This is what project managers typically do. But we need to go even further to maximize positive impacts, that is opportunities, and minimize negative impacts, that is threats. For example, developing a risk management plan that outlines potential risk in construction project and identifies strategies to mitigate that. If we see new business trends, we should strategize to benefit from them. If we see threats in our building process, we should decouple and replace them accordingly. This is what optimizing of risk response is. 11th principle, embrace adaptability and resiliency. Be flexible and responsive to change, adapting plans as needed to address evolving project requirements. That is adaptability. For example, using iterative development in construction projects to be able to accommodate changes in design or scope as much as possible. So what is resiliency? Anticipate and prepare for potential disruptions or challenges, building resiliency into project plans and processes. For example, developing a business continuity plan to ensure operations can continue even in the event of natural disaster or other crisis. That is resilience. And finally, we come to principle number 12, enable change to achieve the envisioned future state. Projects are undertaken to create some sort of a change within products or within some other objectives. And change is not always welcomed by the people affected. Some people may be inherently resistant to change, or they may be risk averse. Project managers should prepare and enable those who are impacted to transition to the new situations created by the project. So, these are the 12 principles of project management. You do not have to memorize these principles for the exam, but you have to deeply understand the intent behind them. And with that, I will end this lesson and see you in the next.